Hi, ladies and gents. Welcome to CEO Meets. My name's Pip Wilkins. I'm the Chief Executive of the British Franchise Association, and I'm really pleased to be joined by Graeme from Why Leadership today. So Graeme, first question, talk to me about Why Leadership. You've obviously been in franchising for a while. This is something that you've just brought to the BFA, but we'd be really keen to understand what sort of services you offer to franchising.
Hi, Pip. Yeah, fantastic. Really good to be here. So yeah, talking a bit about Why Leadership. I launched the business just over 2 years ago now. So, and you're right, I've now been just over 16 years in franchising. So I decided to launch Why Leadership though after a fairly long career in franchising, because I saw a gap in the market. And having run 3 separate franchise businesses over the last 16 years, having worked with and coached hundreds of franchisees, I could see that there was a real strong need for leadership and leadership development services, which I have tailored and continue to tailor very much to the franchising sector. So the business, although not exclusively, I do work with other clients outside, but my number one priority and my number one focus is all about providing leadership development services, coaching services, and in fact, in some instances, non-exec director services to franchisors and or franchisees.
So is the aim for you to work with a franchisor and then do some stuff collectively with the network, or are you working with individual franchisees?
Both. It's fair to say that everything that I do within Why Leadership genuinely is bespoke. So it's very much about, first of all, understanding what challenges franchisors and or franchisees are facing, and tailoring a program of support around that. And again, from my point of view, Pip, it's I've worked with franchisors at all parts of the life cycle, I guess, within franchising. So I've been privileged to already help some prospective franchisees who are just at the beginning of their franchising journey and thinking about using franchising as part of a growth strategy, but also working with existing franchisors, again, at various stages. So it could be that working with a franchisor who's already growing their business and enjoying success, but then coming up against a whole host of new challenges and bumps in the road as the network expands and they need to expand their leadership team and their support teams. So it's literally all aspects of, I guess, at the heart of what I do. It's all around people. That's fundamentally what I do. So it's about helping people and ultimately helping businesses to grow and prosper. Ideally, accelerated growth. That's a lot of what I get involved in. So.
It sounds really great. I am a huge advocate of coaching and mentoring within businesses. I do it personally myself. What do you think is one of the most common challenges that you're seeing that businesses are facing that you're supporting with?
I think, obviously over the last year, you take the last 12, 15 months, the level of uncertainty has definitely been, that's been a huge challenge, no doubt about it. And I think, when we reflect, again, from a leadership perspective and recognizing, certainly from my perspective, leadership is not a title. Leadership, is something that we all have responsibility for. But I think, in the vast majority of businesses, people look to the leadership of the business to have confidence in terms of where the business is going. And so I think that's been a real challenge when there has been such an amount of uncertainty. But that said, equally, I think from a leadership perspective, having optimism as part of a leadership or a leader's responsibility is to create that sense of optimism and to be able to I guess, give hope for the future as well, and to continue with confidence in terms of whatever the business is actually focused on.
And I know that you're speaking about leadership in challenging times at the leadership conference that we're running towards the end of this month. So 24th of June, if anyone needs the date, Graeme's going to be one of our speakers. What would you say is one of the things that leaders can do, a small change to make a big difference, I suppose? Just one sort of top tip.
Top tip, I think probably listen. Listening is a key leadership skill. I'm always interested in the fact, in fact, I was talking to one of my franchisor clients just last week, and we had a conversation around great leaders speak last. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, we most of us, if we've got to anywhere from a leadership perspective, a leadership position, it's so easy to think that we've got all the answers, and therefore we want to help and we want to provide all the answers. But actually, just taking time and creating an environment where the team have a voice and have the ability to voice their opinion and the concerns. So yeah, I think listening.
Listening. I'm listening.
Okay.
What's been your kind of biggest challenge over the last 12 months? You know, it's obviously been COVID, you've kind of referred to that, but in terms of getting Y leadership off the ground, what's been the challenge for you there?
So again, it's interesting. I actually feel genuinely very blessed. I mean, so I launched the business, as I say, 2 years ago. So year one for me was good. It was a successful launch. Year two, last year, was again hugely successful. I grew the business significantly, and I'm really grateful because most of that has been through word of mouth. So I've not really spent an awful lot of money on marketing or whatever. So it's really been, I guess, leveraging the relationships that I've developed over the last 16 years certainly within the franchising sector. But I think probably certainly for the beginning of this year, the biggest challenge has just been around that level of uncertainty. So people, even with projects that were in the pipeline, some of those projects being paused, a couple of projects actually being put off to the sidelines. But I do feel actually just in the last 2 or 3 months, thankfully that pause situation has moved on. I think as people are realizing that what we have gone through, we are still going to have to live with, and therefore, you know, it's actually gathering momentum. And dare I say it, I think there's never been a more important time to have, you know, outstanding leadership developed across the whole of the franchising world.
Fantastic. So my last question, you know, is all about your passion for franchising. You know, you said that you've worked for 3 different businesses. You know, now you've got Y leadership. What is it about the franchising industry that you love so much?
I think there's nothing quite like working with entrepreneurial, whether it be franchisees and/or franchisors, who are first and foremost absolutely passionate about the services that they are providing. I think the second part for me comes around the fact that, you know, every single franchisee puts everything on the line. And okay, of course, franchisors do as well, but I think, you know, when you're working with people who have made that investment, made that sacrifice to be able to build a business, to build a better future for themselves and for their organization, that is inspiring. And you know, I mean, the business is called Y Leadership, and I've done that because of my passion around purpose, and actually my own why is all around inspiring change that results in personal and organizational growth. And it's that combination for me that, you know, working with franchisors and franchisees, that is just, I think it's inspirational. I think it's a huge sense of community. And I think that is also the case within the BFA. And ultimately, you know, franchisees providing fantastic services to their local communities as well. I think it's always been important. I think it's important today, and I think for the future it's going to be even more.
It absolutely is what makes franchising special, I think, the sense of community. So I couldn't agree with you more. Graeme, thank you so much for your time today. It was really nice talking to you. I very much look forward to hearing more from you on the 24th of June at the Leadership Conference in, I was going to say where it was, but it's not, it's virtual.
It's virtual, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it as well.
I'm going to London, that's why it's in my head. But yeah.
No, fantastic. And yeah, thanks for the conversation. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks very much, Graeme.